Hey everyone, welcome back to week 4. If you don't have your supplies for week 4, make sure you go grab them. You should have 2 baggies with cotton balls and seeds. Make sure your cotton balls are already pre-moist and wet, or you have a spray bottle handy or a cup of water or a bowl of water nearby to get them wet. And then in your packet, you had some instructions. This is how we're going to do the experiment today, but then this piece of paper here, this is what I use. This was my guidance for building your kit this week. So if you want to follow these instructions, they use mason jars. You're more than welcome to change the experiment to do it with mason jars or do this at a separate time, but no, this is what I used to guide our experiment today. And then these will be the questions you will answer at the end of our experiment. So if you don't have your packet nearby, make sure you go grab it and then come back when you're ready. All right, are we ready? So this experiment is going to show you how the plants grow their roots and show if the plant's seeds always grow their roots downwards and how their leaves are shaped and if they always grow upwards. So we're going to learn a little bit about that before we get to our experiments. One of the many interesting things about plants is how they respond to the light and how they move in reaction to it. For example, you know that plants need light to grow. We learned about that a couple weeks ago. But you might have noticed that plants grown next to a window bends toward the source of light. Each leaf turns for the most possible light source. That's why it's important to regularly turn a container that way so the plants grow straight. So some people start their seedlings inside next to a window, and that is okay, but you have to turn the pot or the container around every so often so the plant can go straight and not towards the window. So you have to rotate them. This type of movement response is to a stimulus, which is called tropism. And a plant's response to light, the movement, is called phototropism. How does it happen? A plant contains a growth chemical called auxin that builds up on the dark side of its stem. The auxin causes the plant to grow longer on the dark side, which forces the stem to bend toward the light. And we're going to learn a little bit about how the plants grow towards the light, and you'll discover how a plant responds to gravity as well a little bit. The movement is called geotropism, okay? And that stems from a Greek word meaning earth. So let's get on to the experiment. I want you guys to grab your baggies. And if you have a water mister, go ahead and pre-wet your cotton balls. Or if you grabbed a cup of water, you can dunk the cotton balls in the water. Or if you need to go run them underneath the sink, do that and meet me back. Okay, I have one baggie already ready with the pre-moistened cotton balls. I'm going to put the cotton balls in this bag here. I'm just going to put the cotton balls on the bottom and then make sure the seeds are at least kind of touching on the cotton balls so the seeds can get wet and they can germinate. So I'm going to seal it up, and by sealing it up nice and tight, hopefully condensation will occur inside the bag and it'll continue to kind of keep the cotton balls and the seeds nice and wet so they can germinate. And this is how I have the other bag. Notice that I tried, it fell down, but I have kind of the seeds growing in different kind of directions. I've got some facing up, some facing sideways, and some facing downwards to experiment on how the roots start to grow inside the bag. Okay, so go ahead and get your bags all prepped and nice and wet. I just sprayed each cotton ball outside of the bag, but you can also place the cotton balls where you want. Spray down inside the bag, or like I said, if you're going to use the sink to get them wet, or like a bowl, go ahead and dunk them in there, or you can splash some water in there with your finger. So go ahead and get that part of your experiment ready and meet me back here. After you have your bags ready to go, I want you to put one either tape it up on a window, put it next to a window in the windowsill, or somewhere near a source of light, preferably a window to get some natural light, and then put one in the dark room. You could put it in your bedroom, put it in your kitchen in a dark corner, wherever there's not going to be any to hardly any sunlight or natural light that is able to get to your baggie. So one in the light and one in the dark. And then what I also want you to do is do some predictions. So I want you to think about how do you think that the seeds are going to grow the roots? Do you think they're all going to germinate? Just make some predictions on how you think this experiment's going to go, okay? So write those down. You can just write them right on the sheet if you want. You can use some empty space on this if you want, because you're going to come back to this after your experiment. So make at least a prediction of how you think the seeds are going to grow. Do you think that they're all going to germinate? And then the big question will be, do you think the baggie in the light will germinate more, or do you think the one in the darkness will germinate at all? Make those kinds of predictions and write them somewhere, or you can get your own piece of paper and take your own notes. So then you're just going to watch them grow. Give them a couple days to germinate, and then watch them grow bigger. And then once they've germinated and started to grow your roots, I want you to come back to this in a couple days after they have germinated, and I want you to go through these questions. So they go through just sharing how you conducted the experiment. You can either write it down or share with a family member. And then what did you learn from the experiment? If your results were not clear, change it if you can. If you've got some extra seeds, and do it again. Like I said, you can use the back of this and to do it in mason jars or a glass or a bowl if you have those materials at home. Or if you don't have the supplies to change and redo the experiment, make a prediction of how you would change the experiment. What did you think you did wrong? Or do you think the seeds just weren't viable and they were not going to germinate? And then go through question 4. How would you help others learn to do this experiment? So would you be able to teach this to another sibling, or to a friend, or to a family member? So that is this week's experiment between light and darkness. So I'm going to go put these, one in the window and one in the dark, and I'm going to check back next week with you. So I hope you have fun with this experiment this week, and we'll see you on week 5. Bye.